All right, we have quorum, so we're going to begin now. Thank you all for joining us today. Give me one moment. All right, I'm going to call roll now, so everyone please unmute yourself when I call your name. Chair Barrett.
Here.
Chair Benzea.
Here.
Senator El Hadidi.
Here.
Not here. Speaker Pro Tem Logan.
Present.
Vice Chair Long.
Here.
Vice Chair McFerrin.
Here.
Senator Murphy. Not here. Senator Olmsted.
Here.
Thank you. Senator Parkhurst.
Here.
Thank you. Chair Powell.
Here.
Thank you. Senator Reich. It's not here. Vice Chair Richards.
Here.
Thank you. Senator Sarsour.
Here.
Thank you. Senator Shett.
Here.
Thank you. Chair Shukla.
Here.
Thank you. Member Allard Smith.
Here.
Thank you. And Senator Tworenite will be joining us late. All right, with 15 present and 3 absent, we have quorum. The next thing on the agenda is I'd like for us all to observe 1 minute of silence for the lives of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and all others that have fallen to state-sanctioned violence. So if we could all please observe 1 minute of silence. All right, thank you. We're going to move on now to receipts of petitions and messages. Do we have a message from the student body president?
Yes. Hello, everybody. I want to wish my best to you during these difficult times. I know this past week has been really stressful and difficult on everybody, and I hope you're all doing well. Please reach out if you ever need anything. I do have a few updates. First of all, I want to discuss a little bit the statement that the executive branch released this past week. Myself and a few other members of the executive branch have had discussions with students who have had some critiques and concerns about the statement itself. So we acknowledge that we had to release the statement very urgently and as soon as possible, given the drastic nature of the circumstances. But that doesn't condone the fact that potentially signing off as a branch, we shouldn't have signed off on behalf of the entire branch. And we did not acknowledge that student government historically has been complicit in police brutality, and some other different concerns about language, and kind of steps moving forward. So we're having discussions within EBO and then across the entire branch in the next couple of days about steps we need to actively take, not only to educate ourselves, but initiatives we need to engage in, not only throughout the summer, but moving forward and as urgently as possible to address these systemic issues. I am proposing an idea after discussing with Keshav yesterday to the Association of Student Governments and the Council of Student Body Presidents, as well as the president of the Association of Student Governments, Isaiah Green, to demand a call of action to the North Carolina General Assembly in response to everything that's been going on, protests, and showing solidarity with protesters. Because as of their session last week or earlier in the week, all they had was a moment of silence for George Floyd. And the fact that they haven't, acknowledged anything is extremely problematic. So we're working on a call to action later this week or early next week. And other initiatives that we've been working on, yesterday we decided on 2 chairs that will be overseeing our coalition against gender-based violence following the discussions with the Interfraternity Council and those problems that have been going on those discussions that have been going on the past couple of weeks and months. So those 2 chairs will be a member of the Champions for Change within Greek Life, and then Andrea Santiago, who is a Delta advocate as well as one of our student safety and wellness co-chairs in the executive branch. And they're going to start working on membership in the coming weeks and months to start those discussions moving into the school year. We are also having a webinar on June 11th, I believe is the date, with some of the administration about reopening plans and the roadmap and what that's going to look like and addressing questions that students have. And those moderators will be myself, Ryan Collins, who's the GPSF president, as well as Pri. And so we'll keep you in the loop as we get more information moving in. We just got notice of the date today. So as details come in, we'll make sure to share that with you all. I know I spoke with Lamar a bit yesterday, and I know he's bringing forward this resolution today about a commission that is going to work alongside the Racial Justice Alliance, which is being spearheaded by our Civic Engagement Committee. So I want to voice my support for Lamar's resolution. The executive branch and Senate applications came out, so we're spreading information throughout orientation, which I have to hop off in actually just a few minutes because I have an orientation session to hop into, but I wanted to make y'all aware of that as new members begin coming in. Pri and I are meeting with Vice Chancellor Jonathan Sauls next week about the Student Leadership Advisory Committee and trying to get that together coming into this next school year, and having more talks with campus leaders across all of campus, not just student government, with the administration and showing some transparency there. The executive branch is also working on a survey for questions and concerns that students might have, and we are releasing that via a new newsletter that the undergraduate executive branch will be sending out. I believe it's bi-weekly to the undergraduate student body beginning Friday. Just some work that Keshav and I have been discussing. We're meeting with the NC State student body president and their Senate president to try to discuss, some initiatives we can work on cross-collaboratively moving forward to across our different universities. And I believe that's it. But I'd be happy to answer any questions about anything I just discussed.
Thank you, Reeves. Are there any questions for Reeves? Just use the raise hand feature on the side, please, if there are. All right, seeing no questions, thank you very much, Reeves. Moving down the agenda, do we have a message from the undergraduate vice president?
Hi, everyone. I'll just add a few things to what Reeves has shared. A lot of what he mentioned have been initiatives that we've been working on as an entire EVO. But 2 things I wanted to add is Raleigh and I reached out as admissions ambassadors and also as members of EVO to not only the visit coordinator for admissions, but as well as the head of admissions, Stephen Farmer. Admissions released a statement on social media about what some of you might have seen on both Instagram and Twitter. There were some Snapchat screenshots made by an incoming class of 2024 student that contained racist remarks and frankly should have their acceptance rescinded. But it looks like at this time, both from the response we received this morning as well as the statement that was released on social media, I think due to laws like FERPA, I'm not actually sure, it might be FERPA, but potentially another law, they're not able to publicly comment on what the status of that student's acceptance is at the time. But I can, if anyone wants information beyond what was provided in the social media statement, I'm more than happy to forward the response that Steven sent to me to any of you. So just send me a message on Slack about that. The other thing is, I know this is a project that Maya, Ashna, and Drew have been working on, the vigil. Raleigh had shared some information about it with me, and GPSF is also interested potentially in joining both exec and Senate on that vigil. And I know, so Mayan, who is the head of, I think, external affairs for GPSF, not only was she interested in combining all three branches together, she also wants to see if potentially diversity inclusion and Dean of Students can make this a campus-wide vigil. Understandably, this is Ashna, Drew, and Maya's initiative, so it's up to them, but I did want to share that with you three at this time, that there's a lot of momentum on this, so it's truly up to you, and we're all here to support you in planning that however you need us. I think those are the updates from me at this time. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out to me over text, Slack, and just please keep well. I know it's been a stressful time for everyone, so take care of yourself, and that's it from me.
Thank you, Pri. Are there any questions for Pri about anything that she just said? All right, seeing none. Do we have a message from the undergraduate treasurer?
Yeah, hey everyone. First, I want to echo the previous sentiments and hope you are all well, especially in these trying times as we once again see the cycle of state-sanctioned violence, as Keisha put it, played out again in front of us. As far as my office goes, I have been in conversations with Vice Chancellor of Finance and Operations, Jonathan Pruitt, discussing some of the responses that we received in the executive branch's survey over the course of the last week in regards to what summer and fall plans are going to look like. He was able to answer some questions regarding what potential dining situations are going to look like, where they're currently starting to be in talks with local food vendors, including Franklin Street and, restaurants and food trucks, about opening up pop-up locations around campus to help offset the new rules put in place for dining halls. There's also, of course, the parking controversy that cropped up last week, where students and staff and faculty who were attempted to get parking passes last week were subjected to a very long and a drawn-out process of getting confirmation. First, that they received their passes on time, and second, when they announced that the entire month of June was once again going to have free parking on campus, that were they going to be reimbursed for that month that they had just purchased a pass for. So ultimately, the decision was reached where they will refund for the month of June, but sort of understanding that we cannot allow this sort of disjointed response to a issue to happen again, especially as we gear up to go into the fall. I have authored an open letter and circulated to several of the members of the EBOs and Senates to sort of get their intake on how we can approach sort of keeping the university accountable over the next few weeks and months. So hopefully we will have an open letter to bring to the Senates, both GPSF and undergrad, in the next few days or weeks, sort of charging the university to be more coherent and more transparent and inclusive in their policy making as we move towards the fall. Yeah, that's about it for me.
Thank you, Stephen. Are there any questions for Stephen? All right, we're going to move on. Do we have a message from the undergraduate director of state and external affairs? I'm not sure if Alyssa's here today. I don't believe she is. Okay, we'll move on. Do we have a message from the undergraduate student attorney general? I don't believe they're here either. Don't see honor court chair here either. Okay. Do we have a message from the student government advisor? Bobby?
Hey everybody. It's a heavy time, and I know there's a lot that's happening. A lot of folks I've had conversations with a couple folks, but I just want to let you all know that I'm here. And so if people need a process, if people want to have conversations, if you want to engage, if you want to also ask in some instances what work you want to do or how you can do it and you're not sure where to start, I just want to let you know that I'm here. And so please feel free to connect, and I'm happy to make some time.
Thank you, Bobby. Are there any questions for Bobby? All right, seeing none. There are no papers addressed to the Senate, so we'll move on to the reports of the Senate officers. Is there a report from the ethics chair?
Yes. I want to apologize first for my video, guys. I've been having some issues with my computer today. So, but beyond that, there's nothing specific coming out of ethics. I would encourage any senator who has not done so, please take your code test, get that done, just so I can get that in the data. But beyond that, I've really been focusing this week on working with other members of leadership, trying to best coordinate the Senate response to everything that's been going on, which I feel like there are some other members of leadership who are better prepared to share that with you. But today, Maya and Ash and I met, and we had a meeting about the visual that's currently in the works with the Senate. We're looking at the 15th as a tentative date. And even though this is a student government led initiative, to say we're really looking to make it less about us hosting it and more of just providing a place where Black students and Black student-led orgs can really have their own space. So really that's what we're focusing on right now. If anyone has any questions, feel free to direct them at me, or I'm sure Maya and Ashna can also answer anything. But thank you, that's all.
Thank you, Drew. Any questions for Drew? All right, don't see any. Moving on, do we have a report from the Oversight and Advocacy Chair?
Hi all. Yeah, I wrote up a little statement, so I'm going to read that to you guys now. It's pretty short. So officially there's no more business that has been conducted with ONA besides introductory meetings, and I'm sharing that feedback with KSHIV right now. However, I did want to acknowledge the pretenses under which we're meeting. My condolences go out to all who are in mourning, and not just over the murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery, but of the countless Black lives that have been lost. I hope you're all taking activism not just over social media, but by being attentive to your Black identifying peers, by listening to their struggles, donating to fundraisers related to the cause, and writing to your political leaders. I know not all can afford to financially contribute, but we all have a responsibility to listen and contribute all that we can to this movement by using privilege to amplify others' voices, supporting Black creations, signing petitions, reading resources, and more. If you are participating in protests, I do wish you safety and strength. I know Speaker Pro Tempore Logan and I have been working to compile some popular resources, and Maya has been doing an amazing job with the graphics that will be put out on Senate pages soon. And I thank everyone for showing up with the short notice of this special meeting. But it is our responsibility to represent all students of Carolina. We cannot be a Carolina for all if we continue to insist on not listening to the plight of our Black students. Additionally, I want to thank all of the Senate, especially KSHIV, Maya, Lamar, Ashna, Colin, and Drew, who have spent the past week or so contacting organizations and compiling action items to accompany our message. And it's important that we do not make empty promises of support, but we make a commitment to create better spaces and lift up Black students and community members beyond this media cycle. I personally may not have used all the right words, but the crime of not saying anything is worse, and I really challenge others to say things as well. I recognize that as a white individual, I will never understand the experiences of a Black citizen in America, but I do recognize my responsibility to not be silent during this time and support those who are facing these systematic barriers now and in the future. If I can be of any assistance to anyone during this time, please do not hesitate to contact me.
Thank you for your words, Elena. Does anybody have any questions for Elena? All right, seeing none, we're going to move down. Is there a report from the Rules and Judiciary Committee Chair?
Hey, all senators on the R&J committee, I'd encourage you to schedule a meeting with me. I'd love to talk to you this summer before the next session, just the next summer meeting of the Senate, just to get in touch with you and talk about what your goals are for the Senate. So if you haven't done that yet, please schedule a meeting with me. I don't have any other updates about R&J specifically, so I'll save the rest of my comments for later in the meeting.
Thank you, Baxter. Any questions for Baxter? All right, seeing none. Do we have a report from the Finance Committee Chair?
Yeah, hi everyone. First and foremost, I hope everyone is staying safe and well, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally. It's important to take some time for yourself and give yourself room to breathe in these times. specifically to Finance Committee. Bobby Keisha of Lamar and I have actually been going over Finance Code, as all of you know, for the past couple of weeks. Finance Committee is hopefully looking over the edits that we have made in the next week or so, tentatively Monday. And then moving forward from that, we hope to share that with others and get some more feedback on it before we eventually pass it on to the Senate floor. But other than that, I have nothing else. If any of you want to talk to me about anything, please just contact me. My information is always on the Senate website. Feel free to reach out.
Thank you, Ashna. Are there any questions for Ashna right now? All right, seeing none. Do we have a report from the Speaker Pro Temp?
Yes, hello everyone. Thank you so much right now for your support during these challenging times. As a Black identifying senator and student, it is my personal mission to sustain action items for Black students and organizations across campus-wide. And I appreciate everyone's statement today and everyone standing in solidarity with students of color, Black students, and marginalized communities who are facing oppression and issues of violence. So I just want to thank you all so much. And as I am spearheading the vigil, I appreciate the help of Ashna and Drew as we are, currently planning the vigil. Today, we had the awesome pleasure to all meet. I was happy that everyone is in great support of my idea when I announced it just a few days ago as a Senate commitment. I'm proud that everyone is taking very well to it and would like to support. And I currently am in the process of gaining more support from other Black identifying organizations. I will keep you all updated with that. This is an ongoing mission, and vigil is more for support of everyone, but also especially to our Black students. As Drew mentioned, we are planning June 15th for the date. I'm currently already in works with other Black identifying professors who would like to also be included. We will be having a call very soon, and next week we'll be giving an even further update. But just to thank you all, I really do appreciate everyone's outpouring of love, the messages that I have received. It's a trying time, but it's great to know that I have some support here. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Are there any questions for Maya at this time? I'd like to echo pre-sentiments. Thank you for my individual. Seeing no questions, we'll move on to my report. Hello, everyone. Thank you for meeting on such short notice. We needed to meet as urgently as possible to address this issue, and this is the earliest that we can meet according to the standing rules. So I appreciate you all for being so accommodating during these times. I know it's been a very difficult time recently, and I hope that everyone's staying safe and taking care of themselves and reaching out to people if they need to. And while I know that these are very trying times, I am proud of us for being able to come together today and create a safe space for people who have been affected and who are mourning. So thank you. My report, in terms of other things I've been doing, I'll keep it very brief. I think you heard a little bit of it from everybody else today, but I'll kind of summarize. The reason I've been working and determining things that we can do together with, as the student government as a whole and in conjunction with NC State to work with people and call for a response from the NCGA. In addition to that, we've been working on the finance edits recently, but I don't want to take away the focus from what we're doing here today, so I'll just keep it at that. Moving on, we're now going to enter the public comment period. If any member of the public wishes to speak, they'll have 2 minutes to do so. So please use the raise hand function on the right if you're a member of the public and you would like to speak during this time. All right, seeing none. We're going to move on to the introduction of the concurrent resolution, USR 102-009. This is a resolution that was first proposed by our leadership, Maya and Lamar, and then leadership has been working on this for the past few days. So I thank everyone for the work that's been put into this resolution. I ask that you all please consider it and thoroughly read the language and ensure that we as a Senate stand united behind the statement and deliver an appropriate response to these events. I'll hand over the floor to Maya now to introduce the resolution, and I'll share my screen so everyone can see it. Maya, if you'd like to share the resolution with everyone.
Yes. Would you like for me to share my screen?
Sorry, I was on mute. I can share my screen. Give me one.
Okay.
See that?
Yes, I do. So as previously stated by Keshav, we as Senate leadership met on Saturday, I believe, to discuss the beginnings of our commitments to the undergraduate students and undergraduate students of color after the response of the recent incidents of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and many others. So currently here you see where our statement is drafted. We are working not only towards solidarity, but my main push and Lamar's main push as well has been to put forth action items. So within these action items, we are proposing a commission. Reeve spoke about it briefly, and I'll allow as well Lamar to speak on it, as this was his initiative and that he has brought to the table. And also under his commission, we will begin to work on my Senate commitments concern and bring forth issues of Black students and are making sure that their voices are heard. As though the commission is not just yet formed, the vigil is intended to be in part of just an initial act of what you can see a commission to start to do. In the future, we look forward to planning more events united with Black orgs, funding Black orgs, and making sure that they are supported. And as I stated here, as you all can read over it, here is our statement, our resolution to stand in solidarity with the Black community. We are greatly behind this statement, and we thank you all for putting so much time and effort into the careful crafting and being able to actually articulate the really concerns of the Black community and our action items within it.
Thank you, Maya. So we're now in question and answer period. So if anybody has any questions for Maya, please raise your hand on the right. Maya, I'm actually going to ask you to share your screen because I need to be able to see people's hands and whatnot. So.
Okay, give me one moment.
Sure. If anybody has any questions for Maya, please raise your hand. Okay, Elena. Elena has a question.
This is a very small thing and may not be the time for this, but on the concurrent resolution, number 6 does not have a name beside it. Was their name left out?
So that's on purpose. I wanted to leave the list of recipients open for now to allow the Senate to add on, to propose amendments to add people. I already have a couple people that I'd like to propose an amendment to add to this, but I wanted to leave it open.
Okay.
I should not have left the 6th day, but yeah.
Okay, I'm sharing screen now. Please excuse all of the tabs that you are about to see. Also, can you, the host, disable attendee screen sharing? Can you enable it?
Gotcha, yeah. You should be able to share now.
So I am here for any questions or any further suggestions to the statement, and also under the statement, we will be talking further about Senate commitments. Just an overview, Senate commitments are commitments to the Black community, in which Senate we are planning to not only support Black students, but support the funding of Black organizations on campus and serve as more than a resource and guidance during these times and beyond after these times pass. This is nothing to just stop after the hype of this ends. This is something that we are committed to do long term.
All right, so any more questions for Maya? If there are no more questions, I'll also hear a motion to enter debate on the resolution.
A motion to enter debate on the resolution?
Second.
Oh, wait,
Sorry,
hold on.
wait. Nikhil has a question.
Hi. I was wondering, I love the letter. Of course, I was wondering if it would be possible to add maybe in like the resources section, resources for like safe protesting as well, because I think that that's definitely something that a lot of people are in need of right now, as more and more people joining protests.
Thank you so much for that suggestion. I was actually in contact with UNC Black Congress, and we can definitely be able to add this along with our statement. I will ask for their discretion and how to best incorporate this in our statement, as they are currently doing measures to promote safe and productive protests. So thank you so much for bringing that to the table.
Thanks.
Yeah, if you've got resources that you have available right now, if you drop a link in the chat, we can have a senator propose this amendment while we're in discussion. So. All right. I don't see any more questions, so I'm going to rehear a motion to enter debate.
I'd like to make a motion to enter debate on the resolution.
Second.
All right. Do we have consent?
Consent.
Sounds good. We're now in debate. If you have anything you'd like to contribute to the discussion, please raise your hand on the side and I'll hear you in order. I'm going to go ahead and go first and make a motion to amend the list of recipients to include the Dean of Students and Bobby. Maya, do you want to deem that friendly or unfriendly?
I deem that friendly.
Sounds good, thank you. Lamar has his hand up. Lamar?
Yes, I just want to speak briefly about the statement. I am completely in support of it, and I want to thank those individuals who, of course, contribute to the drafting and the construction of the statement. I think it is, very important and essential that we do, one, get the statement out, but that the statement is, purposeful in delivering the right message to our African-American students on campus and our marginalized communities as well, as far as projecting the right image. So I want to thank everyone who worked on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lamar.
And I'm just briefly scrolling. So if if you want me to stop at any section, just let me know, just so that everyone can see every part of the resolution. Yes.
All right. So, Senator Scheck, go ahead.
Yeah. So I had a question, I guess, on the commission or the creation of the commission. I don't know. I get the memo that I feel like the commission's goal should be aptly named, in the sense that we name it the Commission on Campus Equality and Student Equity, but what it is and what it should be named, in my opinion, is that it's like a commission on combating racism explicitly and getting everyone's voices heard. And I feel like the way it's worded doesn't convey that message as well as it could. So something that just straightforward gets across the message of what the commission is trying to do.
Mm-hmm. I also agree with you as well. Of course, like I said, bringing forth action and bringing forth transparency, this is what I am committed to and wanting to see in this Senate. So I definitely will also allow for Senator Richards to speak upon the naming and any else of a part of the commission you would like to talk about if, at this time, if that is possible, to bring forth any further suggestions as well.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and hear Lamar since this is commission, then we'll move down to speaking list. So Lamar, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll just, I won't go into that much about the commission. It will come up later in a different resolution, but I'll just say, as far as the naming goes, we did play around with the name. I can say first it was the Commission on Campus Equality and African American Equity. I think that the Commission of Campus Equality and Student Equity allows us the longitude to address many multifaceted issues. You are correct in that the commission will be combating racism head on and will be addressing the injustices of every race on our campus, but specifically those who are marginalized and African American. However, the naming, while that is of course not of a a bigger issue than, of course, the purpose of the commission. I think that, keep the name this way, this allows longitude, because at some point, right, we won't just be addressing racism, we'll be addressing also other ways that our minority communities are marginalized, which they are marginalized financially as also, other ways. So I think that I agree with you that we should, in a strong sense, that is the commission's first priority, addressing the many forms of racism against our African-American students, but it will address many things in that it is a commission of a lot of longitude and a lot of different uses. So, and it will be, hopefully a commission that is around for a long time. So, yeah, that's kind of my response for that.
That makes sense. Thank you.
All right, moving down the speaking list. Member Large Smith.
This is operating off of Bobby's question or message in the chat. I want to introduce an amendment to add Interim Chief Diversity Officer Sibby Anderson Tompkins to the recipient list.
All right, Maya, are you going to deem that a friendly amendment or unfriendly?
I deem that friendly.
Sounds good. I'll go ahead and add that. I'd also like to propose my own amendment to add a list of organizations that Bobby sent my way that made a statement regarding this, including UNC Executive Branch, Black Student Movement, QAB, Pan-Hellenic Association, MSA, Campus Y, Black Congress, AKD Phi, MGC, Lambda Phi Epsilon, and the GPSF. If anyone wants me to repeat any of that, I can. I can also put it in the chat. So before we make the amendment, I'll go ahead and put this in the chat. In the meantime, if anybody else has anything to say, please go ahead and raise your hand. All right, so these are the organizations. I'm proposing an amendment to add these to our list of recipients. Maya, would you like to deem this friendly or unfriendly?
I deem this friendly as well.
Sounds good. Give me 1 second. Colin, would you mind go ahead and opening up the doc and adding the Interim Chief Diversity Officer?
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you. Once I finish adding these, I have another amendment to the list of recipients. So, and then if anybody else has anything to contribute to the discussion, please do so. If any member of the public as well wants to speak, you can message a senator and we can make a motion to extend speaking privilege to you. So just keep that in mind. Do I have a motion to extend speaking privileges to Vice President Pri?
Motion to extend speaking privileges to Vice President Pri.
Is there a second? Consent?
Consent.
All right, sounds good. Pri, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is just a quick question about what we should put in the chat. So I know this is a preliminary list of organizations that have also released statements. I know at the bottom of the statement where we have resources, much of which I think was, as mentioned, pulled from the exec branch statement. Are you planning on adding some of these organizations down to the list of statements from other campus organizations? And then how are we planning on including all campus organization statement? Just wanted to get a sense of how we're choosing which organizations to include on that, because I know there's a few more that come to mind apart from the list that we have in the document, as well as Keisha's list that I think in the past few hours have released a few statements.
That's a great question, Pri. So in regards to statements from the other campus organizations, I do feel we have to be careful with also putting everyone's statement on this resolution, because we might leave some statements out that we not intended to do. And then two, some statements might not align to what our resolution is trying to get across. So that is a great point that you have brought up. If anyone else would like to speak to that as well, I'm open to hear. As of now, the list seems to be representative of the ones that I have seen thus far. However, if you do know of any organizations that have released a statement, please let us know so that we can include their information and so that they will not be left out. And we can thus talk about to make sure that our resolution aligns with their statement and that their statement aligns with our resolution as well.
Thank you.
Of course.
And let me add to that. I think it might also be worth considering, since there have been a lot of organizations who have released statements, that since we'll be publishing the statement on our social medias and like on our website anyway, maybe it's best to send this resolution directly to different branches of student government and Black identifying student orgs, and other organizations just let them see it like as it comes up on our social medias. Maya, what do you think about that?
I also agree with that, and as well as our website, I feel like we can leverage our website as a way to publish these statements too. Like we can be able to put a link to statements that have been released, and if any organization would like their statement released on our website, then we can, of course, begin that conversation of reading their statement and making sure it aligns with our Senate mission. But yeah, I do agree with that, Keisha, Senator.
Okay, so I'm going to propose an amendment to just, in the list of organizations that we previously added to this, I'm going to just limit it to the Black identifying student orgs and other branches of student government, like the list of organizations. Maya, is that friendly or unfriendly?
That is friendly.
Okay, sounds good. I'm going to make those changes. I think Senator Richards has an amendment that I think he'd like to make. Senator?
Yes, so I am making an amendment to add Patricia Parker and Jim Laluda to the recipients list. They are the co-chairs of the Chancellor's Commission on History, Race, and the Way Forward, and that commission will be working very closely with the Commission on Campus Equality and Student Equity, and they are also, the Chancellor's Commission on Racial Incidences and things like that on campus. So,
am I friendly?
That is friendly.
Sounds good. And Lamar, did they both share the same title?
They do, co-chair. Both of them are co-chairs.
Sounds good. I'm going to make an amendment to add a resource detailing how I believe Senior Advisor Nikhil sent me a resource about safe protesting. And so I'm going to make an amendment to add this resource to the end of the doc. I'll send it in the main chat. Give me 1 second. Oh, wait, hold up. Zoom is letting you copy and paste. Sorry. Give me 1 second. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to change about? It doesn't have to be participants or the resources. They can also be like the actual language of the statement. So if anybody has anything they'd like to add to, subtract from, or change about the actual statement. Senator El-Hadidi, please.
Hi, yeah. I have another resource that may be beneficial to add to the resources list. It's the Freedom Fighter Bond Fund, which has a history of supporting activists that are arrested in civil disobedience in North Carolina. And I can drop the link in the chat and people can let me know what they think about that.
Sounds good. Thanks, Nandy.
Thank you.
Once that link is dropped in the chat, I'll let people review it and I'll let Maya determine if it's friendly or unfriendly. Just so everyone's aware, if an amendment is deemed unfriendly, that means that it goes to debate of all of us. So just if anyone's confused as to what I mean when I say that. Friendly amendment is just adopted by the sponsor of the bill or resolution automatically. Okay, I believe that's all the recipients.
I received your chat message. I'm just taking a few moments to review the website. So just give me 1 moment.
Yeah, me as well.
If y'all have reviewed, I deem this amendment friendly.
All right, sounds good. Maya, you can go ahead and add that to the doc. Give me 1 second. Priya's suggested, oh, sorry. Colin, go ahead, and then I'll address Priya's comment.
I was gonna address Pre's comment too, so if you
Okay, yeah,
want to-
you go ahead, you go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna offer an amendment to include Interim Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs Jonathan Sauls in the recipient list.
Yeah, Maya?
Sorry, may you repeat his name one more time?
Jonathan Sauls, he's the Interim Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs.
For student affairs. I deem that friendly.
That's good. I'm going to go ahead and propose another amendment to add a second resource on how to safely protest, suggested by Senior Advisor Nikhil. Give me 1 second, I'll send the link in the chat.
And I also am proposing a amendment to add another resource. I will also send in the chat.
That's good. Maya, have you added the resource that Mandy sent in the chat?
Yes, it has been added to the master list of additional resources and information.
Sounds good, thank you. All right, so there are now 2 resources in the chat. Everyone give them a quick look over. We'll give you a couple minutes. No, just 3. Okay. Everyone look these 3 over for a couple minutes, and then we'll I'll allow Maya to make amendments, to propose amendments to add these. Thank you all for suggesting recipients' resources. It's really helpful.
Speaker Javadi, quick question. So is your resource a Google Doc?
The Google Doc, yes.
Okay.
By Nikhil. It's a master guide to safely protesting and being prepared to protest.
Okay, give me 1 moment. I am going to stop share so I can click on the Google Doc, review it, and then I will reshare it.
Go for it. I can share while you're off.
Okay.
Can everyone see? Oh. Did I do that right? Can everyone see the resolution on my screen? Okay, sounds good. All right, I personally am in favor of adding these 3 resources, but I'll wait for that.
I also am in favor of all three resources. Particularly, I really like the protesting master guide. This is definitely something all students can benefit just for looking through. We might as well consider to add this on our website. This is just a great way to make sure we're also promoting safety while students are out protesting. So I do all three friendly.
You want to go ahead and add those for us, please?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay. Do I have any other contributions to the resolution? Chair Barrett.
I'd like to suggest striking the Durham Solidarity Center website with the one that I put in the chat. It looks like that website's out of date, but I believe the bond fund that we were trying to include is the one that it linked to on that website and the one that I just put in the chat.
Sounds good. Let me review both. Where's the chat? Whatever. Here we go. So you're proposing to strike the Durham Solidarity Center website and replace it with this.
Yeah, I would add this under the bail fund section.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I like this. Maya, friendly, unfriendly?
Yes, friendly.
All right.
Sorry, I'm busy adding links.
I got you, no worries. Go ahead and place that link. Said add it under the bail fund section, okay. Okay. Are there any other contributions that people wish to make? I'll also hear a motion for the previous question. So everyone knows this is a motion to propose the move into voting procedure. Just everyone give it one last quick read. Make sure you're comfortable with the language and you feel that we've taken everything into account. Yeah, Chair Barrett.
I moved to strike in the third paragraph, in the last sentence where it says the fourth and final. I moved to strike and final.
I agree with that. Maya, friendly or unfriendly?
Give me one moment to locate it. Can you repeat where that is, Senator Baxter?
The last sentence of the third paragraph.
Senate third paragraph. Are you high? Okay, the fourth and final is to hold, and we are striking and final.
Yes.
Yes.
Saying and final, it kind of symbolizes that these are the only things that we'll do.
Yes, I am friendly. That is friendly.
Perfect. Good catch, Baxter.
Thank you so much for pointing that out.
Okay, I personally, I'm going to make a motion for the previous question to entertain the motion going to voting procedure. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. If anybody still wishes to contribute anything, you can object to the motion. So does anybody wish to object to the motion to vote on this resolution? Sounds good. Okay. So we're now in voting procedure. I'm going to take a vote using our new standing rules using the yes and no feature on the side here under participants. And so a vote yes is a vote to pass the resolution. A vote no is a vote to not pass the resolution. A vote to take a coffee break is an abstention. And this requires a 2/3 vote to pass the Senate. And so now I ask all of you to vote either yes, no, or coffee break according to Zoom.
Point of inquiry, is this a roll call vote?
We do it by yes and no, according to understanding rules.
I was just asking if it was going to be recorded as a roll call vote.
Yeah, it's going on the spreadsheet. Thanks for asking. I think we're still waiting on a couple people to cast their votes.
For clarification, how do we do this?
So if you click participants at the bottom of your screen and you go and it'll open up a screen on the side of your screen. You should have the options to click yes, no. You see it? Okay.
And for another clarification, we're voting to amend again what?
No. We're voting to pass the resolution.
Pass the resolution. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. If y'all have any questions, feel free to interject and ask. Okay. That's everyone present and voting. So with the vote of 15 to 0 to 0, this resolution passes unanimously. Everyone leave your votes up for 1 second just so I can write it down. Make sure that we're not missing someone who joined in late. All right, that is everyone present and voting. So thank you all. I'm going to erase everyone's votes now. Now that this resolution has been passed, we're going to move on to our second resolution of today. Just give me one moment. So I can briefly introduce it before handing it over to Omar. Yeah, Resolution 10210. A resolution to support the creation of the Undergraduate Commission on Campus Equality and Student Equity. Lamar, I'll let you take it away from here.
Yeah, so I spoke briefly on this earlier, and I'll kind of elaborate now. So when we all met Senate leadership and Colin and I as well, and discussed what we could do as a Senate to address the issues of our African American students and our marginalized communities, we, Maya presented us with a list of commitments that we all agreed were good commitments and, good commitments to make on behalf of the Senate. And one of the things that, I worried about was how could we, address these things and also, of course, maintain a well-run Senate that has to address everything going on campus, including racial issues. And one of those, the way I came up to solve that was creating a commission that will be charged with just focusing on racial issues, just focusing on anti-racism, just focusing on marginalized communities and how we can support them, how we can execute our commitments through the commission. This will allow us not only to have a separate entity that focuses only on those things, but also allows the Senate to get feedback from how the commission is doing and allows us to also address those things in legislation. Any work that they do, they may need legislative support from, and also move forward with addressing the many other issues on our university. In all the commission, of course, I'm going to say this, I authored the resolution, but I think the commission is a great idea. It took a lot of collaboration, a lot of support from across all three branches, as well as from our advisor, from some members of some Black African American organizations on campus. And I think that it does the job as far as making sure we expand and enhance our work that we're doing for civic, social, and racial justice on campus.
Thank you, Lamar. Are there any questions for Lamar? All right, seeing as there are no questions, do I have a motion to enter debate?
I'll make a motion to enter debate.
Perfect. Do I have a second? Okay, consent?
Consent. Consent.
A few more people.
Done.
All right, sounds good. We're now in debate. Everyone, please use the raise hand feature to contribute to discussion, ask questions about the resolution, propose amendments, etc. Don't seem to see anything, so I'll just say a few words. I think this commission is a fantastic project put together to address race and racial inequity on campus. We'll be codifying the actual procedure of how we select people for this commission in a future Senate meeting. But I personally think I've reviewed this a few times now, and I think it's great. Lamar's put a lot of great work into it, and I have no other things to add. That's just my personal sense. If nobody has anything to add, I'll also hear a motion for the previous question to enter voting procedure.
I make a motion to enter voting.
Sounds good. There's been a motion for the previous question. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Would anyone like to object to the motion? Would anyone like to remain in debate and continue discussion? All right, seeing no objections, we are now in voting procedures. This is also a roll call vote, and we'll be doing it the same way we just did it. So everyone, please hit yes, no, or coffee break to vote on this resolution. As this is a simple resolution, it only requires a simple majority. I think we're just waiting on one more. Maya? Maya, are you there?
I'm sorry. I was talking while it was on mute. Oh my gosh.
You're good.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so with a vote of 15 to 0, this measure passes unanimously. Give me 1 second so I can report all the votes. All right, so that resolution has passed. Give me 1 second, please. Stop sharing my screen.
I have a point of inquiry, Keshav.
Go for it, what's up?
Is now that we've passed this as a piece of legislation, can we begin the nomination process so that the commission can start its work today?
So we don't have a process in place yet for how we're going to nominate these people. So we need to codify that first and figure that out. So we will have people immediately after the next Senate meeting, which will be at the end of June. And then once we have people, they can come together to form the RSO, and they can begin their work immediately at the end of June. So yeah. Is there a motion to extend speaking privileges to Vice President Rao? I'll make one, yeah. There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, so consent.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Just a quick question, kind of along the same lines of recruitment. I saw in the bill that three at-large members were considered external appointments. Is it all right if I go ahead and include that into our next cycle for recruiting external appointments? Because Danny has already gotten the list of all open seats, but we still have a little bit of time if we want to include it in this cycle.
Please go ahead. Or actually, Lamar, I'll let you speak on that.
Yeah, so I saw your chat for yeah, so we did discuss this last night. I also discussed this with Reeves. So you can, just for clarification, you can decide how you guys want to, whether you want to do it in this cycle or to the fall. It's up to you how you want to do that, but you can.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'll make sure to start working on that. Lamar or somebody, if you could just send me like a pretty short description of the commission that you'd want included in an external appointment application, that would be great. Otherwise, I can also just pull that from the document if that's easier.
Yeah, I'll send that.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Oh no, Jack is only just able to make it. Sorry, Jack, we just finished. It's all good though.
Fun. Sorry about that.
Hey, you're good, man. No worries. I understand you had some scheduling issues. Okay, so let me move down the agenda. Notices and announcements. Does anybody have any notices and announcements for us for the Senate? Okay, I'll go ahead then. I want to thank you all again for coming here tonight or today on such short notice. I really, really urge all of you to use the platform that you have as student leaders on campus to speak out and to amplify the voices of those who are being oppressed right now. These are really, really challenging times, but if we all come together and we all work as one to have conversations like this, to commit to action items like we are doing as a Senate right now, like we can and we will overcome this. I want to thank especially Lamar and Maya for spearheading these initiatives. Like, fantastic work, you guys. I think, but these are just the first couple steps in what needs to be an ongoing conversation that lasts year after year after year, and one that does not get dissolved in a 24-hour news cycle. And so I appreciate all of you for coming. Thank you all for your time, and that's all I have. I'll now make a motion for adjournment. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got to do a roll call vote. So one last time today, everyone, please. I'll go ahead and erase everyone's votes. Please vote yes or no on adjournment. Perfect. Everyone has voted. Let me record the votes, and then you all are free to leave. All right. Thank you all for coming. I hope you have a good day, and please, please, please do your best. Donate if you can. Speak out if you can. Goodbye.